I'd like to bring the May 9th, 2012 Planning and Zoning meeting to order. Would everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Morabito.
Here.
Commissioner Zarmi.
Here.
Commissioner Coletta. Commissioner Coletta.
Oh, I'm here.
Commissioner Simons. Commissioner Keller. Commissioner Posenel.
Here.
And Chairman Flouché.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Just a couple of announcements this morning. Anyone who has not yet signed in, please do so at the table located in the lobby. Should anyone wish to speak, please complete the request to speak form, which is also located in the lobby next to the sign-in sheet. A request to speak form must be completed for each item, including that you'd like to speak on, plus sub-items also. Please note that there are stairs on the right, left, center aisles, and we ask that you use caution when using these stairs. There's also a ramp located at the audience's left. If anyone has any written comments, exhibits, petitions, photos, or letters they intend to present at today's meeting, please have 17 copies and give them to the staff member at the back of the auditorium. She's got her hand up in the back. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the table with the overhead camera right up here in front next to the podium to present your documents. If you want your documents to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item number clearly marked on the document. Members of the public cannot talk to staff members that are sitting in the tables in the front with microphones during the meeting. If you have any questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the room, and she will meet you in the lobby to discuss. Staff members are up front. A timer will be activated for all speakers and will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentations and statements. Everyone, please turn off your cell phones, pagers, and put them on vibrate. If you must receive a phone call, please leave the meeting area and go into the lobby for your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking to one another during the presentations and discussions. Today, the Planning and Zoning meeting will hear public testimony and then forward the recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. The items with the recommendation made by the Commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors Monday, June 4th at 9:30 a.m. in the same location, with the exception of any continued item. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and campus are tobacco-free areas, which mean no smoking is allowed curb to curb. Also, only bottled water is allowed in the auditorium. No food, soda, coffee, etc. is allowed in the auditorium. If this happens, the commission will break at 12:30 for lunch, and approval of last month's minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review? Any questions or comments?
I motion to approve the amended minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I've got a little problem here right now. Let me see what's going on.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Just bear with me a minute. What's going on here?
Starting Windows.
John, you want to take a look at this real quick? It's locked up totally. It was okay a minute ago.
Yeah. It's very slow.
Well, we'll see what happens now. It just locked up. Yeah, all right.
It's gonna start fast. Do you need a job?
Move this one over there, because we just, by the time we get through the first one, it'll be,
Yeah.
see, it's restarting, because it was,
Okay, John,
just leave it.
Just leave it. You want to use mine?
now it says an error. All right.
Item 1.
Consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to pull item 1.
Okay. We have a speaker for item number 1, Cheryl Bullard. Would you like to address the commission? You have a question on here. Oh, yeah. Staff, would you read item number 1, please? You can stay up there.
Item 1 is an evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a rezone of assessor's parcel numbers 318, 18002, 003, 029, 030, 037, and 040 from an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to a CRE commercial recreation zone to allow completion of site plan review. This is in the Grand Canyon West vicinity of Mohave County, Arizona. Staff recommends approval of the extension of time as indicated in the staff report. Thank you.
Okay. Cheryl, would you like to address the commission?
Yes, my husband and I own parcel 318-18084. And to get to Mr., I think it's Triron's parcel, it goes right through the middle of ours. And we don't know what, I called the Mohave County office, and the guy was on vacation, so he did just call me back on the way out here. And we did not know what the AR36A, what is zoned now and what is going to be zoned. We don't know what that is. We live in Apache Junction, and like I said, he's going to come right through our property, so it's to our benefit to know exactly what's going to happen with all this.
What do you mean he's going to come right through your property?
Well, our parcel is right here, 318-18.
Put it down on the table there and
Oh, I'm sorry.
where the X is. There you go.
Okay. This is our parcel right here. And Mr. Tryon wants us, there's an established Jeep trail there that's been there forever, and so he wants us to give him the easement there. So we've been in contact with him, but we did not know about this rezoning and what's it going to mean to us. You know, he's got to come through our property, so we want to know what's going to be on all the adjacent property there. Oh, sorry.
Well, you're fine, you're fine. But the thing of it is you're on a section line there at the top, and you don't need to go through your property to get to his property on the section line unless he doesn't have a right-of-way. And
He doesn't.
I think that's, well, that's the problem that he's going to have to address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to waste your time then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's going to have to get a right-of-way, and it looks like it's from BLM.
I just don't know from the AR36 to the new rezoning. I don't know what one is to the other.
Well, AR is what it was
And-
probably when it
yeah,
was
what's the new
purchased
one?
way back when. And CR is commercial recreation, so there's quite a few things that fit into that category.
Okay.
And,
Christmas.
Chris, you want?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, to assist the speaker, it might be worthwhile to have staff read a brief listing of
Okay.
uses allowed in each zone so she gets an idea of what the changes will result in.
Thank you.
John, do you want to do that?
Should I sit down?
You can if you want to. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The AR zone allows agricultural uses and home occupations single-family dwellings, including site-built homes, manufactured homes, and factory-built buildings, and accessory uses incidental to single-family dwellings, and light farming. Guest ranches can be established when they're part of a working ranch of a minimum of 100 acres. They can also do private greenhouses, horticultural collections, flower and vegetable gardens, fruit trees, orchards, dogs and cats as domestic pets, poultry for domestic use, and horses and cows for private use. Can also do wireless communication towers up to 40 feet, and schools, churches, public buildings, quasi-public buildings, child care, adult foster care with a home occupation permit, and playgrounds. There are another list of uses that can be done with a zoning use permit, but the previous items I mentioned are allowed as of right. In the CRE zone, find that. There it is. The CRE zone allows, again, the agricultural uses and home occupations that are permitted in the AR zone, and the single-family dwellings, and communication towers up to 40 feet. It also allows the churches, schools, hospitals, public and quasi-public buildings, parks, playgrounds, recreation areas, camps and golf courses, motels, manufactured home parks, RV parks, resort activities, country clubs, private riding clubs, parking facilities, and other activities of a similar nature. And then there are, again, well, let's see, it allows wireless communication towers up to 60 feet. And then there are a list of things that can be done with a zoning use permit approval as well.
Do you understand what the change is now? Okay, and you still got to get it right away, so. Any questions or comments?
Is the property owner here?
I don't believe so. Is the property owner here? Oh, would you like to address the commission?
I'm not the property owner, but I'm here representing Sid Kratzman.
Okay.
Cool.
Would you like to address the commission? If not,
Want the extension, and he asked me to come here to make sure that he got the extension.
oh, I see.
Gee.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion to approve per staff recommendations. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 2.
Item number 2 is an evaluation of a request to name a road on Assessor's Parcel Number 404-19103, Adair Place in the Cane Beds vicinity, east off Highway 389 between Airport Road and Cane Beds Road, Mohave County. Staff recommends approval of Adair Place as outlined herein. Thank you.
Is the applicant present for item 2?
That would be Mohave County, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so it's okay. All right, any questions or comments of staff? Oh, it's the road name. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 2 per staff recommendation.
We have a motion to approve. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 3.
Item 3 is an evaluation of a request for rezone of Assessor's Parcel 402-64087 from an RE 10A residential recreation 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an RE 1A residential recreation 1-acre minimum lot size to bring parcel into compliance with zoning in the Beaver Dam Desert Springs vicinity. Staff recommends approval of the proposed rezone as indicated in the staff report. Thank you.
Is the applicant present? Okay. Any questions or comments of the applicant by the commission? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve per staff recommendation. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Item 3 carries. Item number 4.
Item 4 is an evaluation of a request for a zoning use permit on assessor's parcel number 224-30014A for a child care facility of no more than 10 children in an RE residential recreation zone in the South Mohave Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval of the proposed zoning use permit subject to the conditions of the staff report. This is an existing facility that's had previous zoning use permits. However, the conditions, primarily the site plan condition, was not met, and so the zoning use permit expired. This is a refiling to reestablish that. Thank you.
Okay. Is the applicant present? Oh, okay. Would you like to address the commission? Okay. Any questions of the commission? Or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question of staff. How long ago did the permit expire? Has it been quite some time?
I believe the last, let's see, it was approved in 2008. The expiration probably would have been either September of 2009 or 2010.
And I know we are the land use people, but I would hope that somebody from maybe the health department or somebody else would take a really, really close look at this place, because our job is to say what's good for the land, but it's somebody else's job to say what's good for little kids.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Morabito, yes, the facility has to be licensed through state agencies, so I'm sure that that provision will be looked into.
Okay, thanks.
Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for item number 4. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, we had one. Motion carries. Item number 5.
Item 5 is an evaluation for a request for a zoning use permit on assessor's parcel number 306-66027 for an animal sanctuary in an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone in the Golden Valley vicinity. This is a refiling of a zoning use permit request. There have been zoning use permits approved for this facility in the past. The conditions of those zoning use permits were not met, and it expired. It has a rather long history that I'm sure many members of the commission are aware of. A couple of items that have come up that I'd like to address initially. One of them is that there's been some discussion about, whether or not this is a kennel, and our zoning use permits are usually considered kennel permits. If you go to the state law for animal control, a kennel means, this is quoting, kennel means an enclosed controlled area inaccessible to other animals in which a person keeps, harbors, or maintains 5 or more dogs under controlled conditions. So regardless of how Mohave County defines a kennel or what we decide to call it, under state law, if there's 5 or more dogs there, it is a kennel. by state definition. The reason that we do the zoning use permits is that, again, in state law, a person operating a kennel, as it's defined, shall obtain a permit issued by the Board of Supervisors of the county where the kennel is located, except if each individual dog is licensed. So if you have 5 or more dogs under state law, you either have to individually license every dog, or you get a kennel permit from the Board of Supervisors, in which case you don't have to individually license them. The mechanism that Mohave County has provided to allow people not to have to individually license all of those dogs is the zoning use permit. So that's just a little bit of background that may be of interest. In the staff report, we have provided a set of conditions the board may wish to use if it decides to recommend approval. These are primarily derived from the previous conditions that were placed on the zoning use permit in prior applications. Because this one is the subject of some things going on in Superior Court, we've separated out 2 timelines. One of them in condition 3 indicates that if they have not obtained approval of the site plan and the permits from environmental health within 6 months of Board of Supervisors approval, then basically it would terminate this zoning use permit if it is approved. It also has a thing that if the court establishes a different date, then the court's date would prevail. Then if those conditions are met within that 6-month period, actually we've got 2 number 3s here. The second number 3, which needs to be renumbered, would use the standard 2-year period for renewal. So just so it's clear, there's 2 timelines. One, to get the site plan approved and get their permit from environmental health. If that's accomplished, then a 2-year approval is the way this is written. As to the number of dogs and cats, those are the numbers that were requested on the application. If the board feels those numbers are appropriate, you can use those. If you feel other numbers are appropriate, you may do that as well. The other thing is there's been some confusion over personal dogs versus the sanctuary dogs. Basically, this permit does not differentiate them. It covers a total number, and it puts a ceiling on the number of personal dogs, because 200 personal pets would be a lot. Anyway, those numbers are not set in stone. Those are numbers for your discussion. Basically, even if all of these, if all of the dogs were personal pets, they would still need the zoning use permit. I guess with that, I'll turn it over to the commission for your consideration, and I'm sure there's some people here that want to speak with you.
John, I got a couple questions here, because this thing has been in front of us several times. What violations are they currently in violation of besides the site plan, and is that primarily it?
Well, as far as zoning, they are operating a kennel as defined under state law and as defined in the county ordinance without a zoning use permit.
When did that zoning use permit expire?
Oh, the last one expired.
I just thought we'd talked about this before, and it
Yeah,
just,
we have.
2011.
Let's see. November 2nd of last year was the expiration of the last one.
So a lot shorter than most. Okay, well, let's, yeah. Is the applicant here? Okay, would you like to address the commission? Or wait? All right.
Good morning, Commissioners and staff. I'm Hillary Allison. I'm the owner and founder of the sanctuary in question. To answer one of your questions, the zoning use permit expired November 2nd. For the last 2 years, I've never been given more than 6 months in a permit, and I've had to continually reapply, pay $540 every 6 months, when the other rescues only pay $340 for 2 years. The reason that this had expired and I had not reapplied is because we were in litigation in the court system. And until the judge made his ruling, the end of, please allow me to finish, the judge made his ruling in March, and when he gave his conditions, I immediately applied, and here we are today in May. So just to clarify that, it wasn't a lapse. It was, we had to wait to see what was happening in the court system. But again, this is the 4th 6-month permit I've had, and everyone else gets 2 years. I am
What you
working.
want to do now is carry it out for 2 years so you don't have to come back?
Absolutely, yeah. And I thought when I came back the last time, I was getting the other 1.5 years that I had paid for, and it just didn't happen that way. So we are working with the Environmental Health Department. The judge has ordered Mohave County to work with me, as well as ordered me to work with Mohave County, and we are trying to take care of all of those things. And he's given a timeline of November 1st. So I think that one, yeah, it takes precedence over any other timeline that would be sooner than the 6 months that Mr. Montgomery mentioned. And we have a couple of main issues that we're trying to rectify here now. And, but I'm in a catch-22. If I don't have the zoning permit, I can't get the environmental health permit, but yet the zoning department says I have to have the environmental health permit to get the zoning permit, and it's been a battle. I would like to reserve a comment, if I may, after the other speakers. Thank you very much.
Okay, any questions of the speaker?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Hillary,
Hillary?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, well, you're not done.
you mentioned that you were given 6 months, and other sanctuaries, they were given 2 years. Have they explained to you why you were given 6 months and the others got 2 years?
You know, I'm not really sure. Some of the other sanctuaries were grandfathered in before different changes, even though I'm the oldest one. I've been around longer than anybody else here. So I don't know what their issues were. I know part of it was the new ordinance that the county tried to pass, and some of them were in before that, and then I believe this commission said they wanted to wait and see what the new ordinance was going to be. I mean, there's been several reasons. My big battle has been, and always has been for the last 4 or 5 years, is the ground cover. If you read the ordinance, the current ordinance, it does not specify anything for outdoor kennels. It says a durable material that's easily cleanable. I don't know anything more durable than dirt. We're all going to wind up back being dirt eventually. It does specify indoor kennels, which I do not have. So that's kind of been a bone of contention. In my opinion, and many animal people's opinions, and many veterinarians' opinions, the natural ground cover, which some people will refer to as dirt, is the healthiest and the most humane for the animals. And my whole purpose of being is the safety and the welfare of these rescued animals. You know, that is the primary focus. I care not about myself. I care not about notoriety.
My question was about, you know, the differentiation between the 6 months and the 2 years. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Part of
Thank
it was
you.
that ordinance, I believe.
Thank you.
Get to the bottom of this.
Mr. Chairman, Could I ask the staff to elaborate why it was 6 months versus 2 years? Because that,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Azarmi, if we look at the other rescues in the county, they have completed their site plans and got them approved. They have their permits from environmental health. They have met all of the conditions of approval, and therefore, they go on a standard renewal schedule. This one has never completed the site plan requirement, and it does not have its approval from environmental health. So it has not risen to the level of the others that have met those conditions. And the other reason is that the last time around, although this commission recommended a 2-year period, the Board of Supervisors did not approve that 2-year period. They gave 6 months to come into compliance. That did not happen, and it expired. I don't know if that helps, but that's the main difference.
So, John, this is all predicated pretty much on the fact that they have not done their site plan?
For our department, yes, they've not done the site plan. They've also not got their approval from environmental health. And let me clarify that one as well. The zoning use permit makes environmental health compliance a condition subsequent. It's something you have to do after you get the zoning use permit. We do not require environmental compliance prior to issuance of the zoning use permit. It's something you have to do once you get it. Environmental health's requirements say you have to have a zoning use permit before they will issue the permit. So it's not really a catch-22 unless the applicant allows the permit to expire. Then they can't get their environmental health permit.
What's the problem with not getting a?
Mr. Chairman, this was
That's really simple stuff.
This was an error on my part. I thought the plan that I provided was the site plan. It wasn't until I redid this application, I spoke with Mr. Montgomery, and he said, no, that's a plot plan. So it was my error. I thought I had provided a site plan numerous times. Apparently, it needs to be a little more detailed, and I'm not a drafts person. I thought I had given them a site plan, which I am prepared to immediately present to them, but we had to get through this first. So he explained to me it wasn't a requirement until you approved this, and then I would have to have a site plan approved.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is the 6th time that you're coming before P&Z Commission and Board of Supervisors. I believe it started in 2003, 2004, 2006, 2010, 2011, and now in 2012. So in none of those times, the staff were able to explain to you that the site plan is the minimum requirement that you have to have?
No one told me until this last time that the plan I provided was not a site plan.
John,
Okay,
could you elaborate on that, please?
John and I spoke a couple months back.
Well, actually, in, I believe, 2006, there was a draft site plan that was submitted. It was returned to the applicant with a series of corrections that needed to be made. And if that had been carried through, we wouldn't even be here today. But a site plan that would meet those conditions was originally submitted. It needed corrections, but it was well down that path. But then when it was returned for corrections in 2006, it never came back corrected.
To be honest, I don't even recall that. It's been a number of years. But I've tried to submit everything I thought was required of me for this zoning use permit. And as I said, it was my error until it was explained to me. However, today is the first time I was ever told that if I licensed all the dogs, I didn't need a zoning use permit. I could have done that years ago, and I would be happy to do it today.
That's not what he said. John, could
John-
you-
That was exactly what he read. If they were all licensed, I wouldn't need this special conditional use permit.
Hang on,
No,
hang on.
no, that just means that you don't need the, for animal control regulations, if you license them. That is not a zoning regulation, that is an animal control.
I guess I misunderstood when you read it,
No,
because
that-
that had never
that
been
is-
offered.
That is an animal control issue. And if you do that, you don't, you would meet the state law requirements, but not the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance requires a kennel permit, a zoning use permit, if you have more than 5.
Yeah. Don't all the dogs have to be vaccinated and
Well, that they are.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was all part of the deal, if I recall.
Oh, they are.
Licensed and vaccinated.
Absolutely. But there are two separate
Yeah,
issues,
I know.
animal control versus zoning.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I do have some other questions and all, but
All right.
I'm going to postpone it to after all the speakers, they speak.
Okay, well, let's move on to the speakers, and then
Thank you.
we'll come back, okay? Phyllis Smith.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of RUF today. I will try and stay within my 2 minutes. My name is Phyllis Smith. I am a resident of Lake Havasu City, property owner, taxpayer, and voter. And it came to my attention over the past few months the conditions that were being set out for the animal sanctuary in Golden Valley. Because it was important to me to find out what was going on at that point in time, being a trained public affairs specialist, having won awards for my documentaries on environmental conditions for the USDA Soil Conservation Service, I did go out to the location in April. I met Hillary Allison and her volunteers. When I arrived at the property, I was really astounded by the fact that it was well maintained. She has many animals there. It was well organized, and they had everything on a schedule. The property was clean. There were no odors, no undue noise coming from the kennels. Now, it was obvious that the animals were happy. They were not under stress conditions, and I've been to other humane societies and pet organizations where they are stressed. So I think our objectivity and our goal is all the same here, and that is to eliminate the problem of unwanted pets. Okay, so what we are doing right now, we are in the process of creating a documentary that will be available to not only all the media outlets, public broadcast network, and available online on all the social media. And I just want to make a point. It is important. There is a public outcry. It's in the papers now of late almost once a week. I'm requesting additional time.
Okay, you got 1 minute.
Thank you. So what we would like to request is that, first of all, we educate the public about animal control. It is rampant here in Kingman. It does boil down, Mr. Commissioner, to an education issue. And I would suggest that everyone go out and visit Mrs. Allison's sanctuary. So I just believe that if 200 human lives were at stake here, we wouldn't even be in this situation. So regardless of your concern for children or animals, I know you need to stick with the permitting process, but there are also human factors along with animal rights. And I appreciate your time today.
Well, let me explain to you. We're not saying that she doesn't take care of the animals. I mean, that's actually a whole different department. But all we're concerned about is that she's got the permits in place, and obviously she has not.
It seems,
That is the issue, and it's not whether or not she takes care of the animals or not, or whether or not we like them or dislike them or how we feel. There's processes that you have to go through, and it sounds like this has just got convoluted and,
it is.
we run
Agreed.
across this once in a while.
Convoluted is a good word, and we want to extrapolate that from the mix here.
Okay, well, we're here on land issues, not whether or not she's taking care of the pets. That's an enforcement issue.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Kathy Odell?
I'm Kathy Hodell from Lake Havasu City, and I went and took those videos, those pictures, so that I know you couldn't go out there, so this is to show you, talking about the zoning and the issues. The big one is the soil, in order for her to get her permit, and I just want you to, can you show that there? The soil is just regular dirt. Best Friends has the biggest sanctuary in the world, in the United States, in Utah. They're on dirt. So these permits that they keep wanting are somewhat unrealistic and are not written down. Nowhere does it say in these documentaries that we've all looked at that it has to be pea gravel or whatever. So by requiring these permits, they don't seem reasonable and they're not in writing, so it's very strange. These animals truly will be all euthanized. There's no doubt about it. Kingman Shelter kills 93 animals a week. So if they think that they're just going to find homes for all these animals, that's not the case. I know that's not your issue. I understand that. But I do want you to know the reality is that these animals are in threat. There's no doubt about it. They will be euthanized. It's an overpopulation problem that we should be addressing rather than, she to me is a hero for taking these animals, and we should be cooperating a little bit more with her. Also, there's a picture, if you could go to number 16, that's a picture of Best Friends. And that dog, by the way, is blind. Many of these animals are not adoptable because they're older and they have some physical problems, et cetera, and that's why they even brought them to her. Mohave County Animal Control, that's Best Friends right there. And they are all, we call them up, they just have regular dirt just like all of us have for our dogs, and that should not be a health problem. They're requiring 3-inch pea gravel or sand, which will blow away, and so the permits are, I think, are unreasonable. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Excuse me, I have a question. I need to correct you on a couple of different issues that you brought up. Number one, commissioners have visited the site.
Good.
We have visited the site several times.
Good.
So we are aware of the situation. In terms of she being a hero, we accept that. She's doing a great job in terms of taking the animals, and I think the community, like you and others that are supporting, should be commended for that. In terms of the ordinance, in terms of the bidding and the sand and all that, I encourage you to read the Human Society's federal law on that, which is significantly more restrictive on this than even Mohave County is looking at it. It is not Mohave County coming up with this design. They are, as a matter of fact, downsizing and moderating what is being dictated on the federal level on the Human Society, the ordinance that they have for this kind of facility. So just for your information, I'm going to ask Rachel Patterson to explain where that ordinance comes from and why it is the way it is. Please, Rachel.
The ordinance, actually to correct something I've been reading lately, the ordinance has actually been in effect in Mohave County since 1976. 2007 was a revision to the 1976 resolution that was passed by the Board of Supervisors. It was revised once in 1977, but then it wasn't revised until 2007. And So in the new ordinance, we added some enforcement procedures, but the ordinance states that for outdoor kennels or properties like Hillary's, where the cages and/or dog runs are provided, they have to be constructed of durable material, which can be readily cleaned and disinfected. And that's where we're coming from. It is in writing. It is in the 2007 ordinance. It was also in the 1976 ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been in effect for quite a long time.
I have read that many times, and the definition of durable material, I mean, zoos have dirt. I have dirt. They're not defining what durable material is, because I've read that ordinance very often. And if the largest sanctuary is Best Friends and they're on dirt, I don't know what is durable material. Is that defined anywhere?
It's not defined in this ordinance in the definitions.
Right, well, that's what I was
A
referring to.
durable- Yeah,
That's pretty
Okay,
vague.
We're getting way off the
Okay.
topic
Way
here.
off.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Linda Bender?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners and staff. My name is Linda Bender. I reside in Lake Havasu. I'm a former Lake Havasu City Vice Mayor and State Senator for this district. My purpose today is to inform you that I visited Hillary Allison and Ruff recently and found it to be a very credible sanctuary for unwanted animals. As you know, they're all very well fed and maintained in suitable conditions and cared for by Miss Allison and several volunteers. Miss Allison has faced many challenges in the past few years between nursing her terminally ill husband, holding down a job and caring for these homeless animals. This is something that maybe you haven't really entered into the equation, why maybe sometimes things haven't been presented in a timely manner to the county. She certainly is not a hoarder, and she's not a commercial operation. She's merely a sanctuary. And maybe that's what we need to define is a sanctuary. A friend of mine from Kingman, former council member and veterinarian Tom Scrimshire, also visited the sanctuary last year and sent an affidavit to the court finding that the condition and welfare of the animals beyond reproach. I'd like you to think that in these hard economic times with so many animals being abandoned, Miss Allison is giving animals homes. She's rescuing them. A lot of the animals have been brought to her by our own Mohave County Animal Control officers because they know if they go to the Kingman facility, administered now by WAS, they will be killed, because it's a known fact that we kill over 500 animals a month in Kingman alone. So please, I'm appealing to all of you today to find a way to work with her. We're all public servants. We need to find a way to work with her. Maybe staff could help her do a site project if that's what they need, a site plan, and help her get the zoning use permit so that she can adopt out animals that would otherwise be destroyed. I, for one, don't want to see over 200 animals given the final solution. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Linda?
I have a couple of questions to ask you.
Certainly.
Okay, since you are involved in politics and involved with, the ordinances, do you agree that she is in violation of the ordinance?
Actually, I think it's been a real problem. I agree that Miss Allison has been maverick in her day because she is on 40 acres out in Golden Valley, and I think to be able to comply has been extremely difficult for her. I do believe that the county has put a lot of obstacles in her path instead of working with her. As I said, when they keep changing site plans, why not come and help her do it? Show her what you need. I absolutely agree with Ms. Hodel, and having read the definition of what should be a durable material, hasn't been defined. Pea gravel, for any of those of you who have been out there,
That's not my question.
we're
My
off
question
topic
is,
again.
do you think she's in violation of that? Because obviously, you know, if you compare that to the Human Society Ordinance, she is in violation. So that's what I want to see from your point of view, since you're bringing that to this platform.
I think she has been in violation, but I also believe that you have to you can't have just black and white. You have to have grey areas, and you have to help people. As public servants, I've been a public servant,
Okay,
you
we are
are.
not- okay,
We need to get
Excuse
our
me.
staff to
You're
work.
asking questions, and please, you know, we don't have, you know. we
I'm
wanna
making
make
a statement. I'm sorry, Mr. Azami.
Thank you. The other thing is, you know, in terms of the time that we had, I know that, you know, you're putting a lot of energy and support, which is great, but I think that energy and support as a recommendation should be directed to be able to get some grants. Use your political weight behind you to use that, you know, grant and financial thing that she can be in compliance.
Mr. Azami?
Instead of putting the Mohave County on the spot to be in violation and sweep it under the rug, I think that, you know, we need to have people like you to use your, you know, ability to provide whatever number of dollars that, you know, they need to be able to make it like the ordinance, like the sanctuary we had before. Last month,
Yes.
I'm sure that you know about the other sanctuary that we had behind us.
No, I was in England for a month, so I didn't hear about that.
Well, that's great.
But
you know,
Mr. Azami, you're telling me to put my money where my mouth is. I absolutely agree with you. And I actually did pay for this last zoning use
I'm
permit.
not talking about your
I
money. I'm
personally
saying
paid
that, you
for
know,
it.
you need to lobby to get maybe Human Society or other grants that are available on a state level to be able to be directed this way. This has been going on for almost 10 years. And, you know, I understand what you're saying. I have visited that site, and I know, you know, you're trying to draw a pretty picture. Although I said that she's a hero because she's taking care of the animals, I'm not positively sure about the statement that those animals are being treated correctly. When I was there and I saw in 105 degrees, the old carpet was laid down on the cat cage with the water on it, which is, you know, the germs can be, you know, basically is the perfect environment for those germs and bacteria to be airborne. I don't believe that, you know, we are doing the animals any favor or, you know, the people who are volunteering for that reason. So having said that, I'm saying trying to be positive. I'm saying that I think that the weight and the energy that you have and your organization from Havasu should be directed to get Hillary the funds necessary to be able to bring it up to par, instead of directing county to stay in violation and sweep it under the rug. Thank you.
I absolutely agree with you, Mr. Azami, and I will be doing that. I've only been involved in this for the last few months, and so I absolutely will be working along with the other group with us here, Kathy Hodel. We will be raising funds, and we will do everything in our power to try and bring her into compliance. We're just asking you for time.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Thalrose, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Thalrose. I'm a resident of Kingman, and I have been here for the past 18 years. And I just wanted to make a statement that my husband and I visited Ruff on January 11th, 2012, and saw all the animals. And as we left, my husband commented, "What a special lady Hillary is to care for all these animals." Hillary has names for all the animals, and she knows these animals. And, you know, they didn't bark a lot. They were not wild. And as we did a walk through the sanctuary, I believe that we need a strong spay and neuter law here in Mohave County. For every animal that is born, there is a human that is responsible. I have 2 dogs. I have them spayed and neutered. I applaud Hillary for making a home, feeding and finding an adoptable home for all these rough animals, and I thank all these ladies for being here today. I thank Hillary from the bottom of my heart for doing what she does. I know I have. I'm very busy just feeding my 2 dogs. I just wonder how she does it. You know, she's to be commended. And I would like for You know, I'm a taxpayer here. I live up in Rancho Santa Fe. And, excuse me, and I just think that all of this is just a waste of time and money. Give her what she needs. Thank you.
Okay, so let me, no, you're fine. You're fine. I don't think we've got any questions. I've just noticed, and we do this, and this happens quite frequently, we think Hillary's doing a great job. But all the energy that has come into coming back to meetings and having people here and the money that's spent, a site plan does not cost that much money, and it's not that difficult to do. The county requires a site plan. We're not talking about the dirt on the ground, that's environmental health. We need to get a site plan done, and we need to get a commitment as to when that's going to get done so that we can make a decision. All the other stuff is very, my heart's with you. We got ordinances that we have to take care of, and there are certain things, and like I said, all the time and money that you guys have spent, you could have had a site plan done.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. As I explained before, I thought I had submitted a site plan. I do have a plan almost completed based on instructions I got from Mr. Montgomery that I will be ready to submit by no later than the 1st of June. I'm just trying to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed because I don't want to do this again. And
well, my suggestion is take your site plan, and I'm not sure what we're going to do here, but the site plan's got to go into them, and then they need to let you know. You need to sit down with them and say, is this what you want? Or go in and say, hey, what exactly do I have to give you? And then, you know, for a few $100, you can get a volunteer. I mean, there's several engineering firms up in Kingman that would probably do it for nothing. Okay? So, and worst case scenario
I'd love to have
is.
their names.
Huh?
I'd love to have their names.
Well, you got to call them. I mean, there's, what, 3 or 4 here? So, but anyway, that's what we need to address is how we're going to deal with the violations that you currently have and carrying this thing forward. And I'm just, anyway.
Well, the way to deal with that is to approve the
No, it's not
zoning
the
use
way- that's
permit
not-
and
that is
allow me to
not-
submit
no,
my
no,
site
no,
plans
no,
and
no.
continue forward.
That sounds really simple, but that's not.
It is.
I know, but it's not, because you're in violation and have been in violation, that changes things.
It's the only way I can correct the violations.
Well, the only way you can correct the violation is have a site plan. You don't have one now, and now you're saying it's another month before you're gonna have that done.
Now, I can have one at the end of the week.
Okay.
I don't know that that's,
Why didn't,
you know,
I don't wanna get into.
now, understand, please,
just trying to
Mr.
explain to you
Montgomery,
the process.
explain, well, and he explained the process that once this zoning use permit is approved and recommended, then I have 6 months to submit a site plan. I'm willing to give it to you by the 1st of June, or give it to them, actually. I said, I have it pretty much completed. There's just some actual numbers that need to be
John,
finished.
is that right? Is that what you're saying now?
Mr. Chairman, a couple of things that probably we need to clarify, and that is the site plan cannot be approved until the zoning use permit's in effect.
I know.
You know, she can have it into us, we can be reviewing it, but it can't really be signed off on as approved until the zoning use permit's in effect. So the way that the conditions are laid out, if you choose to use them, would be to say that, you know, within 6 months, and it can be a shorter period than that, but in no more than 6 months, the site plan will be submitted and approved. The sooner it comes in, the sooner we're done with it. But we have to put a end on it somewhere, and so 6 months is suggested.
Mr. Chairman?
And that
Yes.
6 months runs from the board approval, which will be in, if the board approves it, would be in June.
Right.
6 months from that is December. You know, so sometime in that period.
Well, I don't want it coming back in June or in December. So if it doesn't get done pretty quick, it's gonna come back in December if it doesn't get done. And then we're gonna have the same thing over and over, which is the same thing we've had going on before. I just want to get the site plan in, so everything goes smooth, and then all the other issues can be dealt with others.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Do I understand that if we approve this, it's a 6-month site plan, but if she, or it's a 6-month permit, but if she brings in the site plan, it becomes the 2-year?
Correct. That's the way it's currently written.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
You want to say something? Okay. John, beside the site plan from the planning and zoning, what other items, if there is any, in violation?
Well, if you're talking just
PNC.
zoning,
Yes.
not environmental health.
No, I'm going to
just-
ask her next.
Okay, just for the zoning, there are, last I knew, a couple of travel trailers out there that need to be permitted. Some fairly, minor type things, but it can be resolved if they get on the ball and get everything in. I mean, we can process these things in a fairly short
Okay,
period
so the
of time.
site plan and the travel trailers that they need to be taken care of. And Hillary, do you think that you can get those items out of the way in 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. Rachel, would you elaborate on all the items that, or if there is any violations from the health, and what are those?
Well, keeping in mind that we haven't been out there since September of 2011 because of the court case that, happened. At that time, we needed to verify that the record keeping was in order and that it was available on premises for review by the inspector. We needed to make sure that all of the various runs and pens were repaired correctly and that the flooring issue was taken care of as directed by the court in February. And we did meet March 7th as directed by the court to talk about the flooring issue. The court wanted us to come up with a solution other than natural ground, which last I heard from Hillary, she had chosen pea gravel, although we have not seen a sample of that yet.
Okay, so those are the items from your department that needs to be taken care of.
From the last, yes, from the
And
last
again,
inspection in September.
Hillary, I saw in that picture you have a lot of volunteers that are pushing forward for that, right? So I mean, is it?
Sorry, I didn't
I saw a lot of people that are supporting your project, and I see some from Lake Havasu City that are there. So those items, it seems to be very minimal. Would you be able to also comply with those in 30 days?
I would not be able to comply with the flooring issue. That's going to require raising money. The other things have already been done.
The pea gravel?
Yeah, whether it's pea gravel or sand, I had decided on pea gravel because I thought that would be gentler on the dogs. Sand gets extremely hot and it would be very hard in the summertime to find out where they urinated because it would dry immediately. So it's been suggested to me it would be very hard on their paws and on their eyes. So then we thought about pea gravel, and I've had a couple veterinarians tell me they used pea gravel in their outdoor runs, and in the summer, again, drew a lot of flies. The urine seeps down. You don't know where it is. It's going to be very hard to clean.
Okay, but
so we're trying to work on
Getting off
something
the
that we
topic
can
again
agree
here.
with.
Okay, my question is that, it seems there is a certain ordinance, and for us to, this to go away, and for you to be able to proceed, obviously you need to be in compliance.
That's
Otherwise,
correct.
this thing is gonna show up again and again. So regardless of that veterinarian that is telling you one thing, which I think that, I saw other places that they are using it. But anyway, to
One
bring-
place is using it in very
Right.
small enclosures.
To bring it to compliance, the items that she has from the health department is very minimal. It can be taken care of, and you have a good support system. It seems they have a lot of energy behind you right now.
And that's
So,
the only issue
Okay,
left
let me
is the
just
flooring.
stop right there. We're way off the conversation
So-
here again.
Well, he's asked me a question.
I understand.
I have already
understand.
done the other things she's required. It's the
Okay, just
flooring,
hang
and that
on,
requires
hang on.
raising money.
Please, hang on. All we care about right now is the permit and getting a site plan. If
And
you are in
that's
an
doable.
agreement to do that, all these other issues you're gonna have to deal with separately, not
That's
through
correct.
us.
That's
okay?
absolutely correct.
So, I guess my question is you're in agreement to get the site plan done I know they're saying 6 months. I would prefer to see it in like 60 days max, and that way you know it's done, okay?
Absolutely.
And then you can.
It'll be
you can
sooner than
move
that.
on. And if you're agreeable to that, if the motion comes around, like we were talking about, then,
And the travel trailer.
and that, well, the travel trailers are.
That's a permit, and
Are
that's
those even
a new thing.
licensed travel trailers?
Yes, but I really didn't know, they didn't tell me permitted trailers. This is something that's kind of new, because when we discussed this is for staff, and I was told it would be considered an adjunct, like a bunkhouse. I use the 2 travel trailers for staff.
John?
So this is a new permit system. I
Okay,
don't know
I'm-
what it is, but I'm happy
I'm
to
trying to
do
get
it.
through this a little
Yeah,
faster.
I'm
than
happy
we're
to
done.
do the permitting, whatever it
So,
is. I don't know
John,
what it's
getting
gonna
the
take.
permits for a couple travel trailers, not a big deal?
I don't think there'd be a major issue if it's allowed by the zoning use permit again, and we've tried to write this in. In fact, the travel trailers were covered under the last zoning use permit. We required them last time around that those get permitted. So it's not brand new. It was in the last resolution that those have to be permitted. And it's not a major undertaking to get those permits, but it needs to
I
be
can do
done.
that.
That's all I wanted to hear. I mean, all this stuff can be done in probably 60 days and 30 days. I mean, it's not a real big deal. We've seen that before. Chris?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, it would be difficult to get a site plan through our process in 30 days.
Okay.
For her to
60
submit, though.
For her to submit.
For her to submit,
Yeah.
it would, yeah, that was fine, but to
Yeah.
get it through the process and get it approved in 30 days, it would be a very difficult
Yeah,
task.
well, any site plan would take more than that, but to get it submitted in 30 days, I mean, we've been hearing this for quite some time, and my attitude is, let's just get the thing and get it done. You guys are wasting a lot of time and money, and, you know, the amount of money you guys spent on gas getting here today could have paid for a site plan.
I don't think so. So, 2 cars, I don't think so.
All right,
And I would encourage you, Mr. Azarmi and Mr. Posenel are the only 2 members that are on this commission that have been to my location. I have invited all of you, and everyone is welcome. I do encourage people to visit. And if you've got room in your house, bring home a puppy or a kitty. They all need loving homes, so.
Okay, thank you. Commission,
Are we close to public?
we're closed the public meeting.
Okay. I have visited the site. Again, I mentioned, I'm repeating myself, that she's doing, I mean, she's a hero taking care of that, but yet she needs a lot of help and support, and I'm hoping that, and the county would not be able to provide and does not have the mean to provide that kind of a support. Unfortunately, the county is becoming like a punching bag for this, to bend the rule, to tailor around her needs. However, I'm hoping, but I'm hearing from Lake Havasu, and it seems that there's a lot of positive energy behind it, and I'm hoping that, you know, since they just started with this, they would be able to find some grant or other things to go forward. Having said that, it seems that there are only 2 items that John mentioned, and those can be accomplished. I think that, you know, we should postpone this for 30 days for her to submit those and bring it into, you know, in compliance, at least submittal, and the county, if they could, at least take a look at it, so before the meeting, we see that, you know, maybe that basic stuff for the planning and zoning is, gets out of the way. That's my intuition for that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Jack?
Mr. Chairman?
So you're recommending a 30-day continuance of the item?
30 days with the condition that she's going to bring those 2 items from the planning and zoning that they have, like the site plan and the travel trailers, you know, submit those properly to the Mohave County.
I have a question for staff then. Does, for the permitting process for those travel trailers, you know, part of the resolution was to bring it in compliance with the ADA. Is that part of what's required to get those permits? What's the permitting process for those? It's not like affixing a mobile home to real property.
Well, I guess we would have to see what the, I don't know for sure exactly what the current proposal is for the travel trailers. I assume they're still there.
Yes, they are. They were Monday night when I was there.
Okay. Basically, and again, the permits cannot be issued for the travel trailers until the zoning use permit is
That's
approved.
not my question. My question
So-
is, do they have to be ADA compliant to be issued the permit? If the
If
zoning
they're-
use permit's in place and
Right.
she can get the permits for the
If-
travel trailers, do they have to comply with the ADA like is in the resolution to?
If they are open to the public, if public has access to them, then yes, they have to be ADA.
If they're open to the public, so if
Right.
is volunteer staff considered public?
Ms. Ballard, do you have?
If they're actually working there, how can they be considered?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Poznell, I don't think since we have no application before us, we really don't know what their proposal for usage of these travels trailers are. As Mr. Montgomery said, if they're open to the public, they must be ADA compliant. In the other circumstances, that's really a call of the building department, and we will consult with the building department. They have people who have been trained in
So that would be designated in the
application.
site plan as to whether they're for staff or for open to the public?
It can be done on the site plan. It can also be done as part of their permit. We will.
The permit application?
Yeah, the permit application. We will be consulting with not only them, but also, as I said, we do have inspectors trained in ADA access, and we'll be consulting with them as well.
Joe?
I think I don't have any questions. What I would, if we could get Mr. Hunt and Mrs. Allison together in that room, and nobody can come out until we have a plan done, we would be accomplishing something. It seems that she is not willing to be compliant, and the county, on the other hand, is not willing to bend. So what we need to do is there has to be a solution. The county, I don't believe, is in the position to take on 300 animals and not kill them immediately. And if that's the case, then the county needs to work with her. At the same time, you can't break the rules. And you've known it for 6 years that you're not complying, and you've chosen not to comply. On the other hand, and I've been out there, and I love what you do. We have animals at our house, and I don't know how you can do what you do, and I thank you for it. But you got to follow the rules. And you got all these people here that they speak up for you, well, then they need to start digging up the dirt for you to help you. Or raise the money. The county needs to set aside somebody possibly that can actually help you by Friday to get your site plan done. And when we come back in a month, they can't approve it, but they certainly can recommend approval to this board in a month. But it's just a matter of everybody getting willing to work together to just get it done. I agree with Mr. Zarmi and with everybody else. We don't want to see you back here every 6 months. You've got to be miserable just coming back here. And we have nothing better to do. I mean, we have so many items we do every month anyhow, so we see you and say hi. But you could get a lot further if you would just follow the rules. And you guys, if you prodded her along, this is where we need the pitchfork. If we prodded her along, everybody'd be happy. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm wasted enough time, but you guys need to help, and you need to work with us.
I think the Superior Court judge made that quite clear, that both sides need to work together.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Just,
Why?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a comment. I believe that, I just want to add to Joe's comment that when we say that, the county needs to help, they cannot bend the rule or the policy or the ordinance. And again, what I've seen in the past, many, many years, it seems like, the county is becoming like a punching bag to bend the rule to tailor around her needs, not for her to have two simple things that can be done, like a site plan and, the travel trailer, thing taking over. So I think are we okay to make a
Any
motion?
other questions or comments?
Can I
Okay.
make a motion?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to postpone this item for 30 days with the condition that the applicant fulfill submittal of the site plan and the travel trailer requirement and any other item that is on the planning and zoning list.
But she can't do the travel trailers until she has the zoning
Right.
permit.
No, but I
So
mean-
she can only do the site plan
But she can do the
first.
application.
She can do
She
the
can do the application.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying,
so-
submittal.
yeah,
We're
okay,
saying,
gotcha.
let's get the ball
Submittal.
rolling.
Right,
here,
right,
Because
right.
it's been
Take a step forward.
stalled for
Okay.
years.
Okay?
if we start with the site plan,
Just wanna make it
that they
clear.
can recommend approval.
Yeah, they
That's
can
a
review
huge-
it.
That's more than that's happened in 6 years.
Okay,
Have a
we
motion.
have a second, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to do a 30-day extension on item number 5. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So, got your work cut out for you. It's not difficult stuff. It's. Well, no, it doesn't. It hasn't changed in years and years and years.
Now the pressure's on you.
Yeah.
We gave you 30 days. Let's see what you can do in 30 days.
Okay.
You've had 6 years to not do it. Try to do it in 30 days.
All right, item number 6, let's get going.
Item 6 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 314-35021 from an AR-15A agricultural residential 15-acre minimum lot size to an AR-5A agricultural residential 5-acre minimum lot size zone to allow creation of residential parcels in the Valentine vicinity. Staff recommends approval of the proposed rezone, subject to the conditions of the staff report. Thank you.
Is the applicant here? Okay, would you like to address the commission? Okay, all right, all right. That's quite okay. That's just fine.
Do you have any dogs and cats? Just kidding.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none, I'll entertain a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to approve for staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion to approve item number 6. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7.
See, we are very easy,
Item 7 is an evaluation of a request for zoning use permit on assessor's parcel 308-01-029 for an electric distribution substation in an AR-10A agricultural residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone in the Chloride Mineral Park vicinity. Staff recommends approval of the zoning use permit as indicated in the staff report. Thank you.
Is the applicant present? I'm available to answer any questions you may have, Mr. Okay. Any questions? I assume this is just a substation between Griffith and something else?
Actually, this is a substation between Mineral Park Road and Chloride
Okay,
Junction. And it'll be located underneath the existing 69 kV line.
okay.
I have a question. Oh, go
Yes.
ahead, Jack.
Mr. Chairman.
Jack?
Going up Mineral Park Road up towards the mine, it looks like
Yes.
they're building another substation up there on the left-hand side when you get pretty close up there. What, because that's where I drove first, thinking that's
Right,
where I was going.
right.
And what, is that,
That's actually what we call an isolation breaker. What its purpose is to allow the line to be cut between us and Mineral Park if there's a voltage fluctuation from the generator that they're operating. So it's a little separate. The application actually is for a breaker and a substation, but under the ordinance, we don't need to do a zoning use permit for a breaker. There's one at the intersection of Mineral Park Road and Highway 93. We're actually going to move that one up to this other location and then put a substation on the same site.
because that looks like it's got a lot of new equipment in there.
Well, the one I'm talking about is actually on Highway 93, right there before you make the turn to go up to the
Okay.
mine. There's an old one that's been there since a long time ago. So we're going to upgrade that and move
You
it.
could be so kind, I don't think you mentioned your name.
I'm sorry, my name is Mike Gibble. I'm a right-of-way agent for Unisource Energy.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is an educational question for myself.
Sure.
The chair or the commission. Has it been feasible, these substations that you're adding, in terms of like, I noticed that you're doing it from Tucson all the way up to all the areas that is under Unisource. Are these feasible, and are you planning to expand that?
Okay, feasible as in the fact of why we're building the substation?
Right.
Um,
Financially and,
Actually, it is feasible. We have put it in our budget to upgrade the system. And maybe I can just show a quick picture that might better illustrate what we're doing. This is a picture of the chloride area, and We were going to build a substation at the old Boulder Dam Highway in front of Emerald Isle, and that never came to pass. That was back in 2004. But now we see that there is a need to provide an additional substation there to provide distribution power to the neighbors and also to the Emerald Isle mine, which is coming back into operation. We are going to be taking in a transformer from another substation and be using that, so that will save us some costs as well. We're also going to be converting this area. We're going to be changing the voltage pattern so that we can increase the capabilities so that when the economy does increase and the things come back, that we'll be prepared for that growth instead of reacting. We'd like to be a little proactive for a change.
Yeah, and I noticed that, you know, where you have these substations, you have some properties behind it. You change it to solar and, you know, add, you know, solar to it. Is that something that is a strategy for Unisource to continue?
At this point in time, we're not looking at putting solar on this location. It may be in the future that we're doing a rotation basis between our different service areas, but we're not looking at doing solar at this point in time. However, if someone wanted to build solar adjacent to this substation, then that would be a conduit for them to be able to
Unisource
feed
is
into.
involved in doing some small size, you know, solar right next to the substations to upload, you know, in a small amount. Is that correct?
Yes, we do have one next to our Black Mountain Generation Station
Thank
down
you.
by Griffith.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions I can answer for you?
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve per staff recommendations.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right.
Item 8, you have some speakers.
Item number 8.
Item 8 is an evaluation of a request for zoning use permit on assessor's parcel 352-07048 for a wireless communication facility with a 195-foot tower in an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone in the Willow Creek Ranches vicinity. Staff recommends approval of the zoning use permit as indicated in the staff report. Thank you.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Yes, I am. Okay. You, Bob? Yes. Okay, would you like to address the commission?
Good morning. My name is Bob Bardone. I'm here representing St. Charles Tower Company. I'm the Director of New Development for them. And as you mentioned, I do have a handout for you, and I believe you have that. We're here to answer any questions that you may have regarding our construction of a wireless telecommunications tower in a privately-owned medium on the property, privately owned, between the eastbound and westbound lanes of Interstate 40.
Okay. Any questions of the speaker right now?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
I believe I read that you normally try to have at least one tenant already lined up or signed for the tower, and you don't have one yet for this one. Is that correct?
No, we do. We always
have one?
do.
Okay.
It's Mohave Wireless.
Thank you.
It is going to be built for a maximum of 4 total users, which can include public service.
Okay. All right, we'll see if we have any additional questions. Thank you. Jim Canellis? Jim Canellis?
Good morning. My name's Jim Canellis. I live in Central Sacramento Valley. I'm not against cell phone towers. I'm just in favor of making them multi-use towers so we don't end up with clusters of these in our scenic areas. Thank you.
Any questions of the speaker? Any questions of the applicant? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve per staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 9. Oh,
Number 9 is a discussion of a proposal to amend the Mohave County zoning ordinance, section 18, regulations for multiple residential or RM zone, to allow accessory structures. Currently, the RM zone doesn't allow standalone accessory structures, and I guess if you're looking at an apartment building or something like that, it makes sense. You don't want all of the tenants to be putting up their little sheds and one thing and another. So, but there are times when an accessory structure would be appropriate, and so this would allow detached accessory structures in that zone under certain conditions. Thank you. This is presented for discussion at this point. If the commission is okay with it, we'll probably be bringing it back next month as a regular item. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
I don't have anything specific for this item, but, you know, we talked about a few other items in the past, like, for example, talking about accessory buildings and all that. In the RV parks, right now, we have the ramadas and gazebo categorized as accessory building, which we know in Arizona, all the RV parks, they're naturally going to have those. What does it take to, I guess we discussed about this thing, but I haven't seen that item showing up to be amended, that we don't have to go through the petition of exception every time, and, on that 27J. That's one item. The other item that I work with Director Hunt on the learning centers, tutorial, so that would be in the shopping malls or things like that. And it's also small school churches that it would be in the C2. We talked about that, but I haven't heard back any feedback if that is going to be something that is going to be, before us. And that's been quite some time.
Yeah. I believe the church issue was taken care of several months ago. I believe we did.
No, it was not.
Yes, we didn't. It didn't change for schools, but it changed for churches. And I don't recall exactly what meeting that was, but we did allow churches in the commercial zone. So that piece has been handled. The others, we have a whole series of things that are being developed by staff. I haven't been directed yet to put them on the agenda, but we're working on them.
Okay, so the Christian schools, they can be in a, strip mall or, things like that or
well,
you're talking about the full-blown church?
We're talking about a full-blown church can go in the commercial zones.
Okay.
The schools, we were talking about doing a definitional change basically to deal with learning centers. That's still in the process. We just haven't got it forward yet. And Ms. Ballard.
So, John, are you just looking?
Chris wanted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Mr. Chairman, as an explanation as to why this thing was brought forward before those other ones, we are working on the other ones. Might be sometime before you see the RV park. It's turning out to be a lot more complicated than we thought for other reasons, not having to do with ramadas. But the reason we brought this one forward is we actually have a couple of applications in-house for like detached garages for single-family dwellings in an RM zone. And the zone says, no, they can't have the detached garages. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If they were in any other residential zone as a single family, they'd be able to they'd be able to do that. So that was the urgency, is we actually have a couple of applications sitting there that we were trying to address.
I didn't disagree with this item at all. I'm concur with that. But my question is that it seems like there are a few other items that we discussed, and it seems like, I haven't heard from it. And again, even the issue that John brought up about the church, full-blown church, I don't think that item was brought up. The item was like if you would have a small Christian school that is going to be like a learning center that is part of it, which, I just want to let you know that both of those were in Fort Mohave in a shopping plaza, a small, commercial plaza, and both of those, they decided to move away, which you know, in a way, in my opinion, that landlord or that investor lost 2 tenants, but yet at the same time, you know, we don't have that in place. It was a small school, a learning center, like a tutorial, and also a small little, you know, Christian church slash center that, you know, was not given the permission to operate, and they moved away. So I just want to make sure that, you know, director knows about that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Zarmi, I will get you a copy of the ordinance that amended it for churches. Churches have been changed. Also, we are working on the change in definition for schools. We will get that to the commission. The reason that those two, the school and the church, could not go into the building, one of them could, both of them could not. And the issue was a septic tank issue. The septic tank was not sized for both endeavors, but one could be permitted.
So right now, you're saying that the learning center and tutorial is allowed to be in that? Not from the health department, but from your P&Z?
You know, I think.
School.
Yeah, if it doesn't, if the tutorial, if it's a true tutorial system, then yes. But I think if it's a school as defined under state law, no. And that's the side we're working on.
Yeah, the learning center is not a school. Thank you.
So what we need to do is, we want to make a decision on this next month, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Or what do you want us to do today?
Today, we were just looking to expose the item to the commission. This is sort of the increased visibility sort of issue that you know, we've heard about, that rather than having us just drop a new item, change to the ordinance on you, first time you've ever seen it, you're supposed to vote on it. We thought we'd bring it to you one meeting ahead to give some exposure, get any feedback on whether you thought there were issues with it that we could then change before bringing it to you as a actual proposal. Sure. So no action is necessary on this one.
Any comments from the commission regarding this?
I just clarify this one sentence in here on the language that's proposed. It says detached accessory structures serving only one of multiple dwelling units are not allowed. So if there's a complex that's got 2 multi-unit buildings, there can't be one continuous carport that has parking spots for each of those? Is that?
Yes, in fact, that's what the change encourages, for a unified parking garage for all of them, but not a bunch of individual ones.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure I got that clear, because that was really kind of funny to me. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Any other questions or comments from anybody? Hearing none, yes.
May I answer Commissioner Zarmi's question? Just straightforward that, yes, Commissioner Zarmi will be working on the learning centers, and we'll be bringing it to the commission shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn?
That's what I was getting ready to do. We have a motion to adjourn and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Let's go home. Thank you very much.